This video here is part 4 of the 5-volume series of Walter Veith's Three Angels documentary. By now I think I need to start a GoFundMe account so I can collect some funds so I can get some psychological counseling. This is getting really bizarre. This one is the strangest video that I think I've done so far. Just wait till we get to clip number 2. There's going to be 5 clips we're going to look at. Number 2 is truly bizarre. So this video here so far is the shortest of the 4 that I've done. This is 22 minutes. It's a lot like some of the other videos. The first 3 minutes and 30 seconds is exactly the same. So the content window, is shrinking. He stays on track better on this video than he does on the other ones. He starts off in the first minutes of the video. Typical Seventh-day Adventist stuff I've already addressed in the previous videos, such as to worship the beast is to be opposed to God. The Reformers were the one that identified Roman Catholicism as the beast, and here we go again. Seventh-day Adventism doctrine actually relies on an accurate interpretation of that which they absolutely despise, the Catholic Church. Interesting. Of course, to worship the beast is to in Revelation it's an image of the beast that first appeared in Revelation 13, religio, political system, etc. Yada blah blah blah, Adventist stuff. But we're going to get to these first 5 clips. So we're going to start off with this first one. What is the mark of the beast? Let's watch that first clip.
What is the mark of the beast? People think that it is a computer chip. Is God concerned as to how we do our banking? Don't we do banking with a credit card which has a computer chip inside of it? Is there much of a difference whether I use it in my hand or whether I stick it to my hand or whether I stick it under my skin? What is the mark of the beast? We have to go back into history to discuss this issue of the mark.
So in this first clip, notice what he does. He doesn't define the mark of the beast. He's going to take all 22 minutes to figure that out. This is really typical Adventism. Adventism teaches that it knows what the mark of the beast is, right? It's going to be Sunday worship, as you're going to see later. But we're pressed to show this belief in the Bible, and I do it to Adventists all the time. What's the mark of the beast, Seventh-day Adventist? Well, it's going to be, ultimately worshiping on Sunday. Oh, good, show me that in the Bible. And you can just wait, and we'll wait forever because it's just not there. Likewise, Walter Veith is going to do exactly the same thing here. He dances around this for 22 minutes. He can't answer this question directly. So you know what he does? This video is a patchwork of the worst exegetical that you're ever going to see in terms of he's going to torture the Bible here. I had to call this torturing the Bible with Walter Veith because that's what it is. So you're going to hear in this next clip the most bizarre thing, perhaps. Now, maybe if you're a Walter Veith aficionado, this is not bizarre to you. It's bizarre to me. And I feel like I'm trapped in a science fiction comic book now. So anyway, put on your theological seatbelt, strap in, and let's watch this second clip.
The first time we read about a mark, and fascinatingly, this word, oath, is used throughout the Old Testament when it describes this mark. The first time we read about it is in connection with Cain. Cain received a mark, and by this mark he received power to protect himself against his adversaries. In other words, he was given a mark of authority. And he exercised this mark. Later on in history, it became known as the mark or the sign of Anu, the god who gave to Marduk the power to rule over the children of disobedience. And this power became great in the hands of those who wielded it. This mark of power, this mark of authority, has been passed on through history from one generation to another.
All right, there's a lot to unpack here. This is probably the longest segment. You notice what he says? This is the first time we read about the mark. He just equated the mark of the beast in Revelation 14 to Cain. Now, again, where does the Bible teach us that this mark of the beast in Revelation 14 is something we are to understand in the Bible as being related to a mark given to Cain? Where does it say that? It doesn't. Now, maybe I need to look in my unclear word Bible here, and maybe it says it somewhere, which I wouldn't be surprised if it did. But it doesn't. Notice he then cites this Hebrew word oath. More on that in clip 4. So keep that in mind. Then he says what? Cain received a mark to protect himself. He was given a mark of authority. Really? Does the Bible teach Cain received a mark to protect himself as a mark of authority? Let's look here at just sloppy Walter Veith again. He's sloppy historically, and he is sloppy in the scriptures. Let's go look at the scripture verse where Cain received the mark and see what it says. So what's it say? Genesis 4:12 about Cain. When you work the ground, it shall no longer yield its strength. You will be a fugitive and a wanderer. And then it goes on to, you can read verse 13, 14, 15, and underline in 15, and the Lord put a mark on Cain, lest any who found him should not attack him. Where does it say here in this account Cain received a mark that he possesses of authority? Find it here for me, someone, please, Seventh-day Adventists, because here's sloppy Walter Veith again, misusing and torturing the Word of God. So notice what the passage we just looked at says and doesn't say. Veith says Cain received a mark to protect himself. Really? Like it's some kind of amulet that he's in possession of to protect himself. Some secret amulet. It's not there. Whether the mark is physical or spiritual, the Bible doesn't tell us. Walter Veith, I guess he thinks he's a mini God and can tell us what God means. But it's not there. Veith says that this was a mark of authority. You didn't read that in Genesis, did you? Cain has a mark of authority? Not there. More unscriptural teaching from Adventists and silly Walter Veith, who is not to be trusted. What was Cain's punishment? To be a fugitive and a wanderer, and that whatever he did to the ground was not going to yield. That was his punishment. That's what we can say about Cain. If you want to be accurate, that's what you should say. But Walter Veith doesn't. To state that Cain received a mark of authority is adding to the scriptures. Another most shameful practice of Adventism. If this mark that Walter Veith, and he doesn't tell us, is it physical? Is it spiritual? And he says it's handed down throughout the generations. Did you read that in Genesis? Cain got a mark that he's going to hand down, like he's going to put it in his will and inheritance? Or that God is committed to handing it down? Neither one are in the Bible. Again, just more unbiblical Seventh-day Adventist teaching. Walter Veith has just created a story more suitable for a science fiction comic book than the Bible or the Word of God. Now we arrive at what he said. The mark of Anu? Marduk? Really? Oh boy, this is bizarre. This is really weird. Where does the Bible teach a mark of authority is passed down through time and ultimately given to the god Anu and passes down to Marduk? Maybe it's in here again, right? The Clear Word Bible. This is truly bizarre. We're in bizarro land now. If that's true, what Walter Veith says, the mark of authority is passed down from Cain through all generations, ultimately reside with the Catholic Church, right? Who on Noah's Ark had the evil mark of authority? Who on Noah's Ark was carrying this evil amulet or this evil spiritual mark from God? What nonsense that this guy teaches and passes for a Bible teacher. Notice how he speaks of Anu and Marduk. He goes to speaking of Cain, who we would agree with Seventh-day Adventists is an actual historical figure, to speaking of Anu and Marduk, as though they're actual historical figures. Who are Anu and Marduk? Well, let's go look. Look with me here. Anu, God of the sky. Look at the first underlying text. Sumerian tablets discuss Anu, a system of mythology. Oh, mythology, not real, right? Created. Continue reading. As the great father of the sky, Anu is the sky god. He eventually shares his authority with Enlil, the later Marduk, who in some ways end up, so there it is, Anu and Marduk. Read the last block down there. In the Sumerian creation myth, see, it's a creation myth. Heaven and earth were originally joined together. Anu had two consorts. Anu, the great mother of the sky, and Kia, the earth mother. And he had children by them. And on and on and on. These are mythical creations. The god Anu of the Sumerians is no more real than the god of Zeus is to the Greeks. They're all mythical characters. But you notice how he did it in his video. He talks of Cain, and from Cain he goes right to Anu and Marduk. He doesn't pause to tell the readers he's speaking of mythical Sumerian gods at this point. And he just left an accurate historical figure and went to a mythical Sumerian god. This is bizarre. But in Walter Veith's world, apparently Anu is a real person or a real god. I just don't get it. Anu is as real as Cupid, Poseidon, or Apollo. He doesn't tell us, he just doesn't tell his audience that it's not real. In Veith's wacky theological world, this mythical god of Anu ultimately passes this mark of authority from God down to the Catholics. It's a bizarre system he's just created. When I'm looking at this video, you know what I think? Walter Veith has got this secret knowledge. He secretly knows about Anu and Marduk are going to get the seal of authority and pass it down. Secret knowledge? Secret? That's Gnosticism. And after I thought about it, I go, you know what? Walter Veith? He is now the Gnostic high priest of Adventism, because he's got the secret knowledge. So I hereby christen thee, Walter Veith, to be the Gnostic high priest of Adventism. Ta-da, you just got a new title. The Bible doesn't speak of this mark of authority passing down from Cain to mythical Sumerian gods Anu and Marduk, nor residing on the ark in Noah's, etc. You know what? I felt like when I did this, I'm trapped in the world of Scientology. Look up the evil Lord Zunu, by the way, and it's spelled with an X, X-E-N-U. The god of Anu and Marduk is as true as the evil Lord Zunu is from Scientology. Let's watch this third clip.
And Rome claims that it has the mark, this mark of authority. Now, what does Rome say about its mark of authority? Rome claims that the mark of its ecclesiastical power is that it changed the commandments of God and that it moved the Sabbath of God to the Sunday. This is a mark of our ecclesiastical power. It is proof that it has authority even over the Word of God.
So recall that Rome got this mark of authority from the mythical god of Anu. So Rome's authority is that it changed the Sabbath. It's funny to me how suddenly the evil, not to be trusted Catholics are absolutely to be trusted now in their historical sources and citations when they say they changed the Sabbath. It's funny how Adventism does that. Catholics are so bad and so evil, but we're absolutely going to trust what they say here because they changed the Sabbath. Right. Then he says again, of course, the Reformers identified Catholicism as the beast. There he is again. Now we got to rely on the Reformers for the theological message of the angel, and then we got to rely on the Catholics. We don't rely on the Bible and Adventism. Got to rely on Reformers, got to rely on Catholics. Did Catholics really change the Sabbath in AD 321 as Adventists teach? Look with me here. Who founded the Catholic Church? How did this whole thing that we call the Roman Catholic system actually start? By the year 538, a decree from Emperor Justin went into effect that assigned absolute preeminence to the Church of Rome. It's really about 538 that the Catholic Church started, because there was a split in the church. What we call the Catholic Church today is actually a split that occurred in the church and still exists today, and it started about 538. So in Adventism, when they say Catholicism changed the Sabbath, and they often like to cite Constantine in 321 AD, that's funny. How can Constantine in 321 AD and Catholicism change the Sabbath when Catholicism didn't even exist? So what we call Rome or Catholicism today didn't exist. Well, of course, the high priest, the high Gnostic priest of Adventism, he must know because he's got secret special knowledge. Veith is wrong. Well, Veith is wrong again. Like, he gets so much wrong from the Bible and history. Adventist, you need to stop and fact check this guy. Quit leaving it to me. You ought to do it yourself. You ought to boot this guy out. He has done so much wrong in all these videos. You know, modern archaeology disproves Adventism again. Because what did Adventists say? It's 321 AD when the Sabbath was changed, right? Is that true? Did the Sabbath really change in 321 AD? Look with me here. I did a video on this, Defeating Adventism number 6. And you know what really happened here in this case? It's the Didache that talks about first century Christians actually worshiped on Sunday. Nothing changed in 321 AD because Christians were already worshiping on Sunday. So anyway, with that, we are going to go ahead and go on to this fourth clip.
Now, why should this be interesting? Well, the first angel alluded to the mark of God. This same word, oath, is used in the Old Testament in conjunction with the Sabbath. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy, for I am the Lord who sanctifies you. It is a mark of his authority. That same word is used there. So God has a mark, and Cain had a mark. The descendants of Cain have the mark of authority, and the descendants of God's people have his mark of authority. I am the Lord that sanctifies you. His mark, the same word there, applies to the Sabbath. Rome applies that word to the Sunday. So it is a choice of authority.
Notice what Veith says here. He says that the first angel alluded to that mark. Really? Did the first angel, the gospel angel of Adventism in Revelation, allude to the mark of God? I thought, I got to look at this. So let's look too. Here it is, Revelation 14:6 and 7. Then I saw another angel flying directly overhead with an eternal gospel to proclaim to those who dwell on the earth, to every nation, tribe, language, and people. And he said with a loud voice, fear God, give him glory, because the hour of his judgment had come, and worship him who made heaven, earth, and sea, and the springs of the water. Mark of authority. Walter Veith, where is the mark that you're mentioning here in this verse? I don't see it. Maybe it was Anu. Okay. Here we go again. Walter Veith, the high Gnostic priest of Adventism, is making up doctrines. He says the first angel alluded to this mark. Remember I said earlier the Hebrew word oath? We're going to get to it. Well, we're going to get to it now. He just said the Hebrew word oath is in Revelation 14:6. Did you catch what he just did? Is Revelation written in Hebrew? Am I going to find a Hebrew word in the Greek text of Revelation? Here we go. No, I'm not going to find the Hebrew word oath in the Greek text of Revelation. We didn't even find the Hebrew or even a word alluding to mark or oath in the text that we just read. More silly Adventist, unbiblical teaching. This guy's making up fairy tales. Then he says, you caught this, the Hebrew word oath, and you're going to see it here, you're going to actually see the Hebrew word, is used in conjunction with the Sabbath in the Old Testament. Then what's he do is he makes this quote. And some of you, I'm sure, caught it. He quotes Exodus 20, verse 8, and then he quotes the last half of Exodus 31, 13. And he runs it all together like it's one sentence. It's not. He quoted two pieces of two Bible verses. Let's look at Exodus 31:13. So here is the Hebrew word oath. You can see the red line. It's Strong's reference 226, and it's oath, oath. And it is used in conjunction with the Sabbath in Hebrews 31:13. Okay, so let's look at Strong's 226 and oath. What is it? Well, look at the definition. It's a sign. Notice it doesn't say mark of authority, does it? It's a sign. This is just more Walter. This is just proving Walter Veith wrong again right here. The original language, by the way, the Hebrew and the Greek, proves so many Adventist doctrines wrong, as this one does. Let's continue. If Walter Veith told us the Hebrew word oath is used in conjunction with the New Testament, okay, let's test him on that. Watch with me here. Here's Exodus 28, 20 verse 8. Sabbath. Do you see under the column, the third column, the Strong's reference to 226? He said oath is used in conjunction with the Sabbath in the Old Testament. I don't see Strong's reference 226 here. Do you? Well, let's keep reading. Go to Exodus 20 verse 9. Do you see Strong's reference 226 in the third column? Look down. No, you don't. Well, let's go to Exodus 20:10. Longer verse, so the text is a little smaller. Go down that Strong's column. Is the word oath used in conjunction with the Sabbath here? No, it's not. Let's go to Deuteronomy 5:12, where the Sabbath command is also re-given again. Strong's reference 226 for oath. Is it used in conjunction with the Sabbath here? No, it's not. Let's read the next verse. Deuteronomy 5:13. Is it there again? No, it's not. Deuteronomy 5:14. We're still talking about the Sabbath. Is the word oath in Strong's reference 226 here? No, it's not. Continue to reading. Deuteronomy 5:14. Is it there again? No, it's not. Didn't Walter Veith say the Hebrew word oath is used in conjunction with the Sabbath in the Old Testament? I did a search. I got 61 verses with 77 occurrences of the word Sabbath in the Old Testament, and I got dozens of them that don't use the Hebrew word oath with it. Walter Veith, once again, gets his facts wrong. But I guess that's not new. Let's watch this fifth and final clip.
The mark of authority, the Sabbath. Do I acknowledge God as my creator and my redeemer? Or the mark of Rome? Do I acknowledge the authority of Rome and do as it says? These two come into conflict. And the day is incidental. But it is the one that decides the issue. If I keep it, the Sabbath of the Lord, I am saying, I am yours by creation. I'm yours by redemption. I appropriate your righteousness by faith in the Son of God who shed his blood for me and made an atonement for my sins. If I accept the mark of Rome, I say, I accept that my salvation lies in obedience to your precepts. It lies in the ritual of your sacraments by what I do. I receive my merit from the hand of the apostolic successor, Rome.
This is his grand crescendo. It's taken 24 minutes of his video to get to tell us what the mark of the beast is. And what does he do in this? He equates salvation with Sabbath keeping, because he said, and it's his words, if I keep the Sabbath of the law, I'm yours. See, if I keep the Sabbath, I'm yours. Sabbath keeping is salvation in Seventh-day Adventism, and he just flat out said it and admitted as much here. Adventists, you must keep the Sabbath. You have to set your alarm, get up, get out of bed, brush your teeth, comb your hair. Guys, you got to shave. You got to do all these things to keep the Sabbath, to keep your salvation, as Walter Veith just said. What's Walter Veith do then? He criticizes Catholicism and the works of Catholicism. Because then he says that, well, if I accept Rome and obedience to its precepts and its rituals, then I accept Rome. Does he not realize what he just did? You have a series of rituals, Sabbath rituals you have to do, Seventh-day Adventist, to keep your salvation, as Walter Veith just defined. You got to get up and keep your complicated system of Sabbath keeping to get your salvation. You criticize Rome for its complicated rituals, yet you have your own set of complicated rituals. Beware of pointing one finger at someone else, because three of them are pointing right back at you, Seventh-day Adventist. Walter Veith has just confirmed for all of us here watching, Sabbath keeping in Seventh-day Adventism is essential for salvation. Because he said, again, and I quote, "If I keep the Sabbath of the law, I'm yours." You've got to keep the Sabbath to be yours, which is to be God's, which means you got to go through your rituals of Sabbath, starting Friday, to keep and your salvation. Adventism is a system of works. Let's summarize this here. After all this, what's the mark of the beast? It's Sunday worship. Finally, again, Seventh-day Adventist, show me that in the Bible. Mark of the beast equals Sunday worship. Absolutely not found in the Bible. Nowhere to find. This is the most bizarre video I've done with Walter Veith. Cain received a mark of authority. Not in the Bible. We read the text. It's not there. Cain has a mark of authority that's passed down throughout generations. Please show me where that is in the Bible. And even easier, show me where that was on the ark with Noah and his sons, who had that mark of authority that was going to eventually be given to Rome and become the mark of the beast. Anu and Marduk was the most bizarre thing I think I have come across thus far in these videos. Truly bizarre. Again, like I feel I'm reading my Scientology books and I'm reading about the evil Lord Zunu. I think Zunu, Anu, and Marduk they're all friends in the superhero, universe. And then he mentions the word oath, used in conjunction with the Sabbath in the Old Testament. You saw that it wasn't. See how this guy says things and quotes things that are just easily proven false and unbiblical. Then he criticizes Catholicism for keeping works, when in Seventh-day Adventism you got your ritual Sabbath that you need to keep. You need to do your works. Look with me here at this Bible verse. "For by grace you have been saved through faith. This is not of your own doing," or keeping the Sabbath. "It's a gift of God, not the result of works, so that no one can boast." Sabbath keeping does not save you. Period. Let's end here with this verse. Sorry for such a long video, but such a bizarre video by Walter Veith. Read with me here. 2 Timothy 4:3-4. "For the time is coming when people will not endure sound teaching, but having itching ears, accumulate for themselves teachers, like high Gnostic Adventist priests, to suit their own passions. And they're going to turn away from listening to the truth and wander off into myths. Myths like Anu and Cain's mark of authority, which are absolutely unbiblical." Talk about myths. There it is. This verse is written strictly for Seventh-day Adventists. Adventists, get out of her now.